I've got the top 10 must-adds in fantasy basketball coming up next on Beat the Odds. Don't go anywhere. Hello sports fans and welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. I'm going to count down the top 10 must-adds ahead of week 12. If you like this content, please smash that like button. And a special thanks goes to all of our subscribers who have been watching these videos, as you now account for 16% of all viewers. To the other 84% of viewers that haven't yet subscribed, I encourage you to do so as it helps me create these videos for you. Also, leave a comment on a player that you think deserves to be on this list. To qualify for the list, all players must be owned in no more than 60% of leagues. This episode is brought to you by Thrive Fantasy Sports. Use the promo code BEATTHEODDS to double your first deposit up to $250. And first-time users get a free square. Like on Monday, if you bet on KD to score 1 point in his game, and he does, then you win. Let's dive right into number 10. We have Taurean Prince, 17% owned over the last 2 weeks, 31 minutes, 9.1 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 2.6 threes, 1.7 steals, 0.7 blocks, 1.1 turnovers, on 35% shooting from the field and 80% from the line. Prince's offense has been inconsistent of late, but his defense has been stellar, and that's what's earning him valuable court time alongside LeBron and AD in the starting five. Even though Rui Hachimura is likely going to return to the lineup this week, that shouldn't affect Prince's role too much, as they were both members of the starting unit prior to Hachimura's calf strain. Prince's quality 3-and-D numbers currently outweigh the risk that he may occasionally score in single digits from game to game. To number 9 we go. We have Aaron Nesmith, 33% owned, 28 minutes per game over the last 2 weeks, 11.1 points, 3.6 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 2.4 threes, 1.6 steals, 0.7 blocks, 1.7 turnovers on 48% shooting from the field and 83% from the line. Nesmith suffered an ankle injury in the third quarter of the Pacers' blowout win against the Hawks, and he's currently a game-time decision, although just updated, he is going to be playing against the Celtics tonight. When he is on the floor, he has proven to be a defensive nightmare. Couple that with his proficiency at knocking down threes, and Nesmith is only one of 4 players to have knocked down at least 68 threes this season while recording 37 steals and 24 blocks. The other 3 are Derek White, James Harden, and Scotty Barnes. Let's go to number 8. We have Jalen Suggs, 55% owned, 32 minutes per game over the last 2 weeks, 16.7 points, 2.9 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 3.3 threes, 0.9 steals, 1 block, 2.7 turnovers on 43% shooting from the field and 63% from the line. There has been no real news concerning Markelle Fultz's eventual return to the lineup. That leaves Orlando in a position to give Jalen Suggs over 30 minutes of court time a night. There are some concerns about rostering Suggs, namely his poor shooting percentages and high turnover rate, but he seems to keep his value afloat by getting his hustle stats and hitting over 3 threes a game. He is a safe play as long as Fultz remains on the sidelines. To number 7, we have Dante DiVincenzo, 48% owned, 23 minutes per game over the last 2 weeks, 13.9 points, 2.9 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 3.1 threes, 1.5 steals, 0.4 blocks, 1.4 turnovers, on 51% shooting from the field and 86% from the line. DiVincenzo splits minutes between Josh Hart, Quentin Grimes, and Miles McBride, so it caps his ability to carve a consistent role on this team. As we have seen, he doesn't need much time to make a fantasy impact. He has been otherworldly from 3 of late, averaging 4 per game over his last 4 games. If he continues this play, I'd expect him to bank 25 minutes a night, which would make him more than capable of producing on any fantasy squad. To number 6, we have Nick Richards, 34% owned, 30 minutes per night, 9.7 points, 9.6 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 0.7 steals, 1.3 blocks, 1.1 turnovers on 64% shooting from the field and 53% from the line. Nobody really knows when Mark Williams is going to be making his return to the lineup, so Richards is going to have full reign of the starting center position until he returns. He is more than capable of fulfilling that duty, as he is usually good for a low-end double-double with solid defensive stats and good ratios. Don't let the free throw percentage scare you off. He has been much better at knocking down his freebies this season, making them at a 74% clip. To number 5, we have Jeremy Sohan, 44% owned, 29 minutes per game over the last 2 weeks, 12.9 points, 5.4 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 1.4 threes, 0.4 steals, 0.6 blocks, 1.6 turnovers on 49% shooting from the field and 82% from the line. Sohan has admittedly been a frustrating player to own this season. His 2-point performance in 29 minutes in a close game against Portland earlier this week can attest to that. He can post fantasy useful lines, however, making contributions in every single category. His versatility gets him a little bit of a leash on that lineup, but his up and down scoring has been really the only detriment to his game. Once he starts to level that out, then he should be universally owned. To number 4, we have Caris LeVert, 51% owned, 27 minutes per game over the last 2 weeks, 19.6 points, 3.2 rebounds, 6.2 assists, 2.4 threes, 0.8 steals, 0.2 blocks, 1.2 turnovers on 46% shooting from the field and 82% from the line. LeVert is a fringe roster-worthy player on a healthy Cavs squad, but when he's asked to step up due to an injury, then he truly shines. He has been a primary ball handler in the absence of Darius Garland and has been productive, especially in his last game where he tallied 11 assists in 27 minutes against Washington. He has struggled with efficiency, but he's currently on a run that makes it easier to stomach his usage. I would run him until Garland returns. To number 3, we have Naz Reid, 56% owned, 21 minutes per game over the last 2 weeks, 10.1 points, 4.7 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 1.9 threes, 0.6 steals, 0.7 blocks, 1.6 turnovers on 53% shooting from the field and 75% from the line. Reid is a smart handcuff for either Karl Anthony Towns or Rudy Gobert. He absolutely shines in a starter's role, and he remains productive when he's coming off the bench. The only real knock on his game right now is his turnover rate, which has been steadily climbing over recent weeks, but he might be turning the tables a little bit, only allowing 1 turnover in his last 3 games. Naz is currently hovering around the elite 50-40-90 club for the season, which is not being talked about nearly enough. Let's go to number 2. We have Grayson Allen, 60% owned, 34 minutes per game, 18.1 points, 3.4 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 3.9 threes, 1 steal, 0.9 blocks, 1.6 turnovers on 58% shooting from the field and 89% from the line. One of the best shooters in the game, I'm actually talking about Ray Allen, posted career averages of 18.9 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 3.4 assists on 45% shooting from the field and 89% from the line. His career best season, making threes, he hit 3.4 a game. Now, I know that most basketball pundits will comment on the different eras that both Ray and Grayson Allen played in, but this comparison is only here to highlight the crazy run that Grayson is on. If he is available in your league, do yourself a huge favor and pick him up. And finally, a number 1 guy, Brandon Podziemski, 53% owned, 29 minutes per game over the last 2 weeks, 12.1 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2.1 threes, 1.6 steals, 0.1 blocks, 1.1 turnovers, on 55% shooting from the field and 44% from the line. Chris Paul fractured his hand in Friday's win over Detroit and will likely be out for an extended period of time. Podziemski is the next man up. There were some minor concerns of Pods' usage as a playmaker once Draymond Green returns. Those concerns can now be put to rest. Expect Podziemski to play over 30 minutes per game and put up some well-rounded lines for the foreseeable future. And that's going to do it here for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video and of course subscribe to the channel for more content like this. We're going to sign off for now, but I'm going to catch you guys on our next episode.